we're gonna divide by 6 on both sides. Okay, and so we're gonna get x equals 0. Okay, now, it is not done. Okay, so what needs to happen from here is normally, and I'm not sure about the back, and this is where it gets a little step harder. The back definitely does. Okay, you would take this and have to plug it back in for y. But we already know y goes by what? -4. Okay, so again, on this part, so both of our things are solved, and our last step is always going to be to write this as a coordinate. And which one comes first?
X.
X. Okay, it goes x comma y. So it goes 0 and -4.
So we just plug in the -4.
Hold on, because we're...
So we just plug in the -4.
No. What do you mean you're just plugging in the
For
-4?
the coordinates.
Yes, because that one's already solved, but on the back that they're not, so they're going to go a step further.
What you get for working the
Okay, number 2. So this one is done. Okay, number 2, we're going to go ahead and label, or 3, sorry. We're going to say equation 1, equation 2. Okay, so which one are we going to circle?
The second. Yeah.
The second one, because it says y equals. So we're going to circle this, and we're going to draw an arrow to go up to here. Okay, for the y. Okay, so equation 1, we're going to write down all the way. So -3x plus 7y equals -12. Okay, so I just copied down that equation. Okay, now we know who likes to be called what?
Y likes to be called -3.
Y likes to be called -3. So wherever the y is at, I'm going to erase it and put a -3. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do what? Well, obviously we're going to solve, but what needs to get done? 7 and 3. Okay, so 7 times -3. It's going to be a -21. And everything else is going to stay the same. Okay, well now if we're looking at this, who's the third wheel?
-21.
-21. So I'm going to add 21 to both sides. Okay, so I got -3x equals something. 9?
Yep.
9. Then what?
Divide
Divide by -3. Okay, so we're going to get x equals -3. Okay, and then we need to write our coordinate. Which one's going to go first? The x, which is -3, and the y is also -3. Okay, here's a general rule of thumb to keep in mind. Your coordinates, the individual numbers, so like that one has -3 and 3, the very first one was 0 and -4, they should be under, I would say, 90% of the time they should be under 10. 99% of the time they should be under 20. So if you're getting anything over 10, something's probably wrong. Okay?
What if it's like a really big one?
Huh?
Hunter, watch it be over there.
Then something's wrong. Can I scroll?
Yeah.
Okay, look at number 5. We're going to go ahead and label. And these start to get a little bit harder. Okay? Equation 1, equation 2. Again, which one am I circling? Equation 2. Notice how it says y equals. Okay? So equation 2 is the one we're going to circle.
But do we circle equation 1 on number?
Hold on. You're going to have to... Okay, so we're circling equation 2, and we're going to plug it into the other one. Okay, so now, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, it's going to look like -8x minus 3, and instead of y, what does my y like to be called?
-6x minus 8.
-6x minus 8. Okay, so before we just had a single number, and now we got an equation within an equation. Okay, so we're substituting the y for this. Okay, so nothing's changed, it just looks longer. Okay, you're still plugging it in the way it was before. Okay, and then again, we're gonna do our parentheses first. Okay, so, and we did that on the other page too. Okay, so we got negative 8x. What is negative 3 times negative 6?
24.
18.
Positive 18.
Yeah, we said
I almost wrote down 24.
X.
Hold on. 18x. Negative 3 times negative 8. Positive 24. Okay, and then looking at this, just look at the equation. What needs done next?
we need to put darn on negative.
We need to
8x and
combine.
13x.
Okay, negative 8 and a positive 18. Okay, so negative 8 plus 18 is what?
10.
10x plus 24 equals 24. Okay, and notice again, it looks just like on the front. Who's the third wheel?
24.
The 24, so we're gonna say minus 24 from both sides. So we're gonna get 10x equals 0. And then what? Divide by 10. So we get x equals 0. Okay, so now we know the x.
The coordinates.
Okay, so if you already wrote down the coordinate, erase, because it's not done. Okay, so now we know the x. So notice, and this is why I tell you to circle. Notice how I have this circled and I have this circled. This one now, we know the x. Do we actually know the y?
No.
No, okay, so we're gonna have to plug it in. So this is why I draw circles and arrows. Okay, it's gonna get plugged into whatever you have circled up there. Okay? Now, although that seems long, I'm gonna show you a cheater way. Okay? So that equation is y equals, and I'm just copying it down, negative 6x minus 8. Now, we know our x. What is our x?
0.
0. So wherever the x is at, we can change it and put a 0 here instead. Okay, now this part is nice because you can type in the whole equation every single time on the calculator. You're going to type in negative 6, parentheses 0, close parenthesis, minus 8. Okay, so type in that whole thing. Negative 6, parenthesis 0, close parenthesis, minus 8.
Negative 8.
Okay, and yes, you're gonna get negative 8, so you're gonna get y equals negative 8. Now, do we know what the x likes to be called?
Yeah, negative 8. 0. Or
0. Do we know what the y likes to be called?
negative 8.
Negative 8, and so now it's done. Okay, so on this one you have kind of an extra couple steps, so distributing, right, the combining like terms and then plugging it in. Okay, but it is the same as the front. Which one's gonna come first? The 0, okay, or the x. Okay, so it's going to be 0, comma, negative 8. Alicia, did you scan? Can I scroll? Okay, number 7. I got equation 1, equation 2. Which one am I circling? Equation 1. Okay, so we're going to circle this one, and I'm going to draw an arrow down to the y on the other one. Okay, you know you're going to use substitution when one equation says y equals and the other one does not. Okay? On elimination is when neither of them say y equals. Okay? So this is going to look like 3x plus 6, and instead of y, what am I writing? 3x minus 2 equals negative 12. Okay, and then we're going to distribute So I got 3x. What is 6 times 3? 18x. 6 times negative 2. Negative 12 equals negative 12. Okay, and then what needs done? We're going to combine. Which is what? Well, what are you combining? The 3 and 18. Okay, so it's going to give me a 21x minus 12 equals negative 12. Sorry, there's like a glare on the thing. Okay, and then what needs done? Who's the third wheel?
12, negative 12,
The negative 12. So we're going to say plus 12,
plus 12.
plus 12. Okay, so I'm going to get 21x equals 0. Okay, and then what?
Divide by 21.
Divide by 21. Yep, and it's going to be x equals 0. Okay, so I have my x circled. Look at the other problem that you did. Where's it going up to? Yeah, okay, so whatever you have circled up here, it's going to go all the way up to here. Okay, and that's why I say draw the arrows, so then when you're working on your side, you can kind of follow along. Because the steps are the same. Okay, and so that's why I said you're just going to have to practice. So you're going to get y equals 3x minus 2. Well, instead of the x, I now know x likes to be called what? 0. Okay, so this is really going to be a 0 here. Okay, and you can either erase or write it over it hard. Okay, and again, you can type this on your calculator. So you would type in 3 parentheses 0 close parenthesis minus 2. What do you get?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Are both of ours solved?
No.
Yeah. Okay, we got the x and we got the y, so we can write it as a coordinate. What's coming first? The x, which is 0, and then negative 2. Okay, and again, notice how all of your coordinates are under what?
10.
Under 10. Okay, if they're over 10, I'm going to say, I would even go, so I'm as confident to say I'm 99% sure it's wrong. Okay, if it's even 11, probably wrong. Okay, they should all be small.